Hey, keep that underhook in your right hand.
How come there's always that white belt who goes too strong in sparring? That white belt that knows everything about BJJ. That white belt that wants to teach others within a couple of months of training. Same white belt that asked the professor to roll on the first class. Just stop. One step at a time, please. Ordinarily, you wouldn't expect a white belt to train other white belts. Or to compete with black belts.
Today we have our very first white belt on the show. His name is Lee. He's 240 pounds and he's really good. But then I just transitioned to the super smooth back take anyways. He does a good job of directing my weight across his body, but not enough to prevent me from passing his guard.
The reason is pretty obvious. White belts are like blank slates with little to no knowledge of Brazilian Jiu-jitsu. But there have been instances where some white belts grappler feel so confident they begin teaching others, sparring with more experienced grapplers and going extra hard on others during training. Some of these white belts already have martial art experience from other sports like judo, karate, so they feel like they know enough to challenge others. With such instances, one begins to wonder, is having the knowledge of another martial art enough for a BJJ white belt to train others or to challenge black belts? Stick around to find out what we think. In BJJ, the white belt is the first belt. It's an indication that a person is just getting started in the sport and is mostly still a novice.
9, 10, push up. Get your arms in your chest stronger. 10, ready.
Obviously, not all white belts are the same, as some have martial arts experience while others are totally new to fighting sports. In most cases, you will find that those who are totally new to the world of martial arts are more humble and willing to learn. They are easy to teach and not in a hurry to try out complicated techniques. But the other types of white belts, those who already have experience training in martial arts, are more in a hurry. They are used to challenging physical routines and have no problem putting their bodies on the line. Full of confidence, sometimes they can be super hard even in sparring. Thinking they can tap anyone.
Go, JT. Push it up.
What they don't realize is that BJJ is a unique kind of martial art. BJJ is more about technique rather than sheer strength and power.
Biting down, ankles up, driving him towards the ground. Maybe I'd turn him over, maybe not.
BJJ is also not really all about size and body build, and without the right techniques, a white belt could end up injuring himself or his sparring partner. You will often find them correcting blue and purple belts, trying to prove that they also know it. For white belts new to martial arts, which we can classify as newbies, they can be easily impressed by the show being put up by these aggressive white belts and volunteer to be taught by them, simply because they also want to learn quickly and to perform the techniques they see them do, even when the techniques are being poorly executed. But anyone who understands BJJ and the structure of training will know that a white belt shouldn't be in a hurry to begin sparring.
Let's go. 1, 2, 3.
There is a whole lot to learn before you finally get the chance to step on the mat to spar with an opponent.
Good job.
Unlike other martial arts, BJJ techniques are not so straightforward and can take years to learn.
They're rolling, they're making mistakes, and then they're asking the question.
Rather than trying to impress by taking on more experienced opponents, white belts should focus on the learning of main positions.
You might even have two hands here and it's difficult because I can't move my elbow.
And acquiring a basic familiarity with each of them. A good place to start would be by identifying guard and defensive positions.
And you'll have the longevity to consistently train. Really just take a whole break and you'll realize you might be missing one tiny detail.
You also need to learn to control your ego, accepting that as a white belt, when you progress to sparring, you will be beaten by more experienced students, and it's okay. This is where white belts with previous martial arts experience struggle. They are so used to winning in their previous sports, they immediately want to impress and submit their sparring partners, who could have more experience than them. Many are deceived by their big and naturally athletic build and can be frustrated when they easily get submitted by smaller opponents. They have relied too much on power and size. Here comes a sport where those two attributes could be useless. It's quite frustrating, and we understand. But then in order not to sustain a terrible injury, you will have to accept the fact that you are a BJJ novice and quit being too hard on yourself and your sparring partners. A white belt should also focus on getting used to the feeling of jiu-jitsu, understanding how your body moves on the ground, how it feels to grapple with your opponent.
Able to do so, and here I'm going to grab that lapel and try to get a shin on shin position and start trapping my legs, and now I'm in a very bad position. He's going to step his right leg over and get into the side control position, passing the guard.
Which may be strange to your body, and the way an opponent uses his strength and weight to either break a lock or to put you in a lock during a match. Another thing you should do is choose one technique and try to master it. As a white belt, it's all about learning, not winning. You shouldn't be bothered about submitting higher belt fighters. If that's your mindset, you will find yourself going too hard during training. And if you are not so lucky, you could suffer a career-threatening injury. You also shouldn't be in a hurry to master several techniques at the same time. Take things step by step. Master one technique before moving on to the other. Try not to get easily distracted by other white belts who simply like to show off. We would also advise you not to fall into the temptation of allowing one of the more aggressive white belts in your gym to train you. Although he might appear to be doing well in training, he doesn't have sufficient knowledge to assist you in your growth. Always train under the supervision of a purple belt and above. On average, it takes at least 10 years for a person to be awarded a black belt in BJJ. And in those 10 years, one thing is sure, he has gained enough experience to know how to teach BJJ safely. Brazilian Jiu-jitsu white belts who have previous martial arts should understand that BJJ is a different type of martial art, and its techniques are unique. If practiced properly and under the right supervision, it shouldn't result in critical injuries. But if you come in with the mindset of proving a point or showing experienced grapplers that you are better than them, you most certainly will end up injured. Now listen to this. As a white belt, you are still a novice, and you are in no place to correct blue and purple belts. You shouldn't even try to teach a fellow white belt. Just drill with them. That's enough. That's your job.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
You might have experience in judo, karate, or any other martial arts, but this is Brazilian Jiu-jitsu, and technicality is everything. These blue, purple, and brown belts might look skinny, but they have more experience than you, and rest assured that they also have more techniques.
Head tucked in, head tucked in.
Please, on your first day, never ask the professor to roll. It's a sign of disrespect. He will ask you when you deserve it. Trust me. Finally, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more. Thanks for watching.